Every hotel has one room they'd rather forget. A room that's never rented, never cleaned, and never spoken of. At the Oak Ridge Inn, that room was 303. But when a traveler named Ryan checked in one rainy night, the receptionist made one mistake. She gave him the key to room 303. Ryan had been driving for 10 hours. He didn't care what room he got, he just wanted to sleep. When he reached room 303, the key turned harder than usual, like the door hadn't been opened in years. Inside, the air was cold, still, and smelled faintly of burned wood. He shrugged, dropped his bag, and lay on the bed. That's when the phone rang, but the line was dead. As Ryan went to wash his face, he noticed something strange in the mirror, a shadow behind him, just standing still. He turned around, no one. But when he looked back, the mirror fogged on its own, and 3 words appeared slowly, written from inside the glass. "Get out now." Terrified, Ryan tried to leave, but the door wouldn't open. The handle was stuck. Then he noticed something on the table, a dusty old tape recorder, already playing. A woman's trembling voice whispered, "If you can hear this, you're in the room too." Suddenly the lights flickered, and a shadow figure stood in the corner, motionless. Ryan froze. The shadow didn't move, but he felt its presence pressing in on him. The tape recorder continued. "They never leave." Not really, and now. "Neither will you." He stumbled back toward the door. It still wouldn't budge. The temperature dropped sharply, and his breath became visible in the air. Then he heard soft whispers, hundreds of voices all repeating the same phrase. "Room 303, room 303, room 303. The room began to distort. The bed stretched into the ceiling. The walls cracked, revealing dark hallways that hadn't been there before. A cold wind blew papers from a torn calendar, all dated 1976. Ryan realized the room was alive, reshaping itself, feeding on fear. Every corner, every shadow seemed to move closer. A figure appeared at the end of the bed, a woman in a tattered dress, her eyes hollow black voids, greater than, "You shouldn't be here." Her voice echoed in his head, not just through his ears. Once the key turns, the room chooses its guest. Ryan tried to speak, but his voice was gone. The figure reached for him. The air grew heavy, and Ryan felt his body being pulled toward the mirror. Ryan's reflection moved on its own, smiling sinisterly. He tried to break the glass, but it didn't shatter. Instead, it absorbed him, pulling him into a dark, endless void. In the void, hundreds of shadows whispered secrets of past guests. Room 303. Forever. Hours later, the receptionist noticed the door of room 303 slightly ajar. No one was inside. Only the tape recorder remained, still playing. "If you can hear this, you're in the room too." The key lay on the floor, and the sign outside flickered once, then went dark. Room 303 was empty, until the next guest arrived. The Oak Ridge Inn stayed quiet that morning. Too quiet. The sunlight that reached the parking lot seemed duller than usual, as if the building itself was swallowing the light. Inside, the new clerk, Melanie, began her shift. She'd only been working there a few weeks, and everyone had warned her about one thing: never rent room 303. She used to laugh it off. "Ghost stories keep guests curious," she'd say. But that day, curiosity found her. A man walked in just before noon. Tall, mid-40s, wearing a gray coat, eyes tired from a long drive. His name was Detective Harris. He showed her a photo, a young man with brown hair and a backpack. Ryan greater than. He was last seen checking in here 3 nights ago, Harris said. I need to see his room. Melanie hesitated. Her manager wasn't in, and the rules were clear. No one entered room 303, but when she looked at the detective's badge, something made her nod. She handed him the key. The door creaked open. Dust floated in the light. The room looked untouched, but Harris could feel something, a strange pressure in the air, like walking into a memory that didn't belong to him. He turned on the light. The bulb flickered once, then stabilized. The bed was made. The mirror was clean. Too clean. He stepped closer and noticed faint handprints on the glass, from the inside. Then he found the tape recorder. It sat quietly on the desk, covered in dust. He pressed play. The tape clicked, hissed. Then a woman's trembling voice whispered, "If you can hear this, you're in the room, too." Harris frowned. He looked around. "Hello? Who's there?" No answer. Only the faint hum of the old motel lights. Then a door slammed in the hallway. He jumped. Melanie, waiting outside, called out, "Detective? You okay in there?" But when she opened the door, the room was empty. The manager arrived minutes later, furious and pale. "You didn't give him that key, did you?" Melanie's hands shook. I did. He said he was a cop. I thought." The manager cut her off. "Get in the car. Now, we're leaving." She stared at him. "What? Why?" He looked at her with eyes hollow from fear. "Because no one leaves 303. Not the ones who enter. Not the ones who open the door." That night, thunder rolled across the valley. The rain returned, just like it had 3 nights ago, and room 303 lit up, on its own. Through the window, 2 figures could be seen standing inside. One was Ryan, the other Detective Harris, both motionless, both staring at the mirror. And then a third reflection appeared between them. A woman, pale, with black eyes and torn clothes, smiling. The lights went out. By morning, the Oak Ridge Inn was empty again. Every key was still hanging on its board, except one. 303 was gone. The vacancy sign outside blinked twice, and then glowed bright red, OCCUPIED. Weeks passed. The motel closed down. Nature began to reclaim it, vines, moss, dust. But at night, drivers passing by still saw the same light glowing behind one curtain. Room 303. Sometimes they said they could hear voices, muffled through the walls, repeating the same words over and over. "If you can hear this, you're in the room, too. And if you ever stop your car there on a rainy night and listen closely, you'll hear a faint ringing sound, like a phone, waiting for someone new to pick it upon." Room 303 doesn't want guests. It wants company. Forever. They say every haunting begins with a story, a memory so dark it refuses to die.